Hello, we're at NG Rome conference and we have a chance to talk with Manfred Steyer. Manfred is a trainer and consultant for Angular. He's also GDE. So Manfred, hello and welcome.
Hi.
How do you like the conference?
Yeah, I really like it. A lot of positive energy, great talks, and great people to discuss with. I really like it.
Yeah, I agree. So we have a few questions for you. So we can start with some recent stuff. So let's start with let syntax for templates. Hot or not?
Well, yeah, I think hot because we need some way to unwrap signals but also observables in our template. And so far, there was not a good possibility. So far, we used hacks like, this good old ng if unwrap maneuver, as I call it. And it's really a hack because we are misusing an if for this. And some community people even wrote such an let, and so I'm really happy that we get this let out of the box to streamline our templates.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, did you get a chance to play with zoneless change detection?
Yeah, I played around with it. I mean, it's experimental currently, and it's available since about 4 weeks, give or take. But I played around with it, and I tried it out, and so far it's really promising. I think we should really make Zone.js optional for many reasons, and now this is the first step in this direction.
Yeah, so the future of Angular is bright.
Yes.
Do you like the idea of single file components? Like, for example, in analog, they use this pattern.
Yeah, so I think the current solution creates a lot of cognitive overload because we have to respect the template file and the TypeScript file. And while I think it's really good to separate both aspects, logic and template, I don't necessarily think we need to separate it by files. There are other ways to separate it, for instance, by having several sections in one file. And also other communities like Vue show that this can work. But I think we need a separation. And when it comes to the cognitive overload, I think there are two solutions. And perhaps we could support both to please different groups of people. One solution might be to make it easier to have inline templates. Currently the inline template is a string, so it's a bit hard to deal with it. So I would like to have a single file component with a own template section. I think this is also beneficial for people starting with Angular without a good IDE. And on the other side, we could leverage IDEs with plugins like Studio Code or WebStorm in IntelliJ, which is really a great product to quickly switch around between logic and template. But at the end of the day, somehow we need to reduce this cognitive overload.
So, what do you like more, WebStorm or VS Code?
Well, I actually like both. I'm kind of torn when I'm working on examples, when I need to switch between different examples time and again to showcase new features in a hopefully motivating way. I go with VS Code because it's more lightweight. But when I work on a project that I really love the possibilities of WebStorm, IntelliJ and so on, because it provides a lot of features and it's really great at refactoring, and I really need refactoring.
Yeah, refactoring is one of the best features of WebStorm.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Angular roadmap. What feature do you wait the most for?
Yeah, actually, I'm really looking forward to signal components because I think they will streamline a lot of things. They are more or less pushing us into a direction where everything will be fast and we cannot make that many mistakes anymore. Currently, we have kind of the same, or at least something similar with OnBush, but you can do a lot of mistakes with OnBush and then you start wandering. And I'm really looking forward to make the imports array optional, because this is also something that adds cognitive overload when I'm working. It pulls me out of my flow if I need to remember, well, I need to maintain this imports array.
Yeah. So I agree with you. So the import array can be really long.
Yeah,
So
it can.
if we could reduce it, we could get rid of a lot of boilerplate in our components. So what do you think will be the future of signals in Angular?
Yeah, I think all of this leads sooner or later to signal components where we have a default way that really works, that works in a hopefully easy way, but also in a performant way, and where we cannot make that much wrong. I think this is the goal of introducing signals to Angular. And currently we have this intermediate solution where we can already use signals with traditional components so that we get used to it and so that this is not a big bang migration, because we all know big bang migrations does not work that well.
So, so let's talk about the extensions of signals. So, like for example, in Solid.js, are you familiar with it, with this library?
Bit,
Yeah. So they have their own API for asynchronous code, like for example, create resource. So, do you think this kind of API will be available in Angular in the future?
I'm not completely sure, but I know that the Angular team is aware of this and that they are looking into this direction. They have great connections with Ryan Caniato, who is the person behind Solid.js. They discuss a lot. And as mentioned before, I know that they are aware that something like this is needed. So currently, and I will also pick this up today in my talk, they have discussed the idea of separating effects into two categories, into rendering effects, rendering stuff out you cannot do with data binding, like drawing on a canvas or displaying a toast message, and business effects. Some effect that is reacting upon a signal change and triggering a logic. And currently they are really aware that the current implementation of effects is more for rendering and that something needs to be done for the former use case, for business effects. And of course, if we talk about business logic, we talk about asynchronous stuff, because business logic most of the times live on the backend, and so it will be asynchronous.
Right. So Manfred, that's all questions I had. So thank you, and have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.